everyone. My name is Jenna, but you guys can call me Jen. Welcome back to my channel. Or welcome if you're new. Hi, hello. Welcome to another weekend vlog. It's officially Saturday. Oh my goodness. It is like gloomy, rainy, humid today. It's not even that like warm outside. It's like 20 degrees, but humid. I'm sticky. I don't like it. But alas, I'm here. I have just started a fun little challenge video that will probably go up at some point this week. Maybe next. Probably next week, depending on the way things line up. I'm excited about it. So I'm going to be reading a lot of books for that video, but I will mention them, I guess, a little bit in here, and I'll talk about all sorts of other things like my writing, my knitting, whatever else I feel like gabbing about, which is pretty usual in my vlogs, you know? I'm going to be reading a sequel of a series that I've been meaning to read for a while, first and foremost, which is Our Lady of Mysterious Ailments by Teal Huchu. Maybe it's probably easier to read that way. Yeah. Which is exciting and fun. Second book in a series. Here's the cover. And we're going to see where we get to. But yes, I'm going to be hanging out here all weekend. I got no plans. The only plans I had were yesterday when I got to go hang out with a bunch of my friends, which was very lovely because my one friend Yeleni was in this week. She is in this week because she's attending a wedding here. One of many weddings this summer. She's attending a wedding today. And so she came in because she lives in BC. It was so nice to see her again. And we all hung out last night. It felt so nice. It felt like it was old times again. It was so great. That was my plan last night. The only single one. And now my plans consist of sitting right here, reading and writing and knitting. I am still working on my t-shirt, which has grown significantly since I last talked to you, which is awesome. I've tied off the sleeves, very fun. And I'm working down the body now, which is exciting. It's a lot of just the same knitting in the round over and over and over and over again until I reach a certain point that I think I do like darts or something. I don't know. I have to check out the pattern, but this is the Tolsta Tee by Rebecca something or other. I can never remember her last name, but I've been following her on TikTok for a long time. Pervasive knitter, and she writes wonderful, very intricate patterns. So I'm happy that I'm knitting this one because there's so many different like adjustments that you can do depending on your size, depending on like how your bust fits, depending on what kind of vibe you want to do, and it's like you get all of it in one pattern. So there's like 4 or 5 different downloads you can do for different things. I love it. So I'm having a great time, and it's rather addicting to knit, I will say. So I've been working on that, and of course we got Project Dragon under the way. I also might do some cozy gaming at some point. Who's to say? I also unearthed my copy of The Anatomy of a Story by John Truby, which I forgot I had. So I might have a gander through that at some point because I feel like reading craft books always gives me a little bit of like inspiration of some kind. So, but yeah, Project Dragon is by my lap at all times. I think it's gonna be a good weekend. It's gonna be very chill. We'll see how much I get read. We'll see how much I get done. We'll see how much I yap because y'all know I yap. Anyways, welcome to the vlog. Let's get this thing started.
Doing an investigation in her harness. Yeah, you can explore. How's it going? Hi, Belly. Hi, sweet girl. What's going on? Hey? That's my favorite. I love when your ears do that. Yeah.
Hello, friends. Happy Sunday. I am popping in from my well air conditioned room. So if you hear anything, I'm so sorry because I have a fan in my door and an air condition right next to me, which I'm excited about because my main room, when I got home today from mom and dad's, it was 28 degrees when I walked into my house and then I vacuumed. So you could say that I was dripping in sweat. Yeah, my main air does really nothing anymore. So hopefully my air guy calls me back because I would love that. Anyways, hi friends. It's been a good weekend so far. I've ended up reading 2 books, both for that challenge video. So I'll keep it brief so you don't hear me talk about them in both places. But I did read a book that thus made me DNF a series. And then I just finished a book today that made me finish a series. So it's been kind of productive both ways because that means there's 2 series less on my ongoing 80 plus ongoing series list. So I ended up reading book 2 in the Library of the Dead series, which is the Edinburgh Nights series by T.L. Huchu. But the second one is called Our Lady of Mysterious Ailments, I do believe the long title is. I was egregiously bored by it, which is unfortunate because book 1 had so much going for it. I loved the narrator, even though it took a little bit of brain power to wrap myself around it because I'm not used to reading that phonetically of a Scottish brogue almost. Is that the way to say it? I'm not sure if that's entirely the way to say it, but our main character, Ropa, the first book is so voicey, and the second book definitely follows that. It's like she leaps off the page. You can hear her voice, and the audiobook narrator is Scottish as well, and she does such a good job in performing Ropa, her inner thoughts and stuff like that. And the first book is so spooky, and there's an interesting mystery going on, and we get to see Ropa doing her ghost talking, which is like her thing. Book 2, it's a new mystery, but now Ropa is more ingrained in the magic world and she's trying to learn magic and thus get jobs with that. And like an internship pops up. It's an unpaid internship, but she doesn't really do her ghost talking that much. And it's not creepy at all in the book. And I was like, oh, I was really hoping that we would delve more into that horror that we were experiencing in book 1 because that was so well done. But yeah, book 2 was just kind of boring. It was just like, okay, got to the end and there was like characters being named. I'm like, I don't know who these people are. Like I haven't been paying close enough attention or just like haven't cared to. I'm not sure. So that made me officially DNF this series. I did finish the book though, so I have finished 2 books in that series, but I'm DNFing the series. I'm not going to continue with it. I just don't think it's for me. I really liked book 1, but I think that's about it for me because listen, a sequel has to kind of wow me for me to continue with the series, especially one that is 5 books long. So, unfortunate, but hey, it's one more book and one more series off my list. Then today I ended up reading India Holton's The Antiquarian's Object of Desire, I believe the full title is, finishing the Love's Academic trilogy, and fuck was it so good. That one is officially my favorite India Holton I have read. I fucking loved it. It was so good. I think I really, really, really love India Holton's Love's Academic trilogy so much more than her first trilogy, even though I haven't yet finished that trilogy. I think I have 1 book left in that one. The first trilogy of hers, all the couples feel very similar to me. And like all the characters in it feel so similar. Like they could be interchanged and I would not know. Like you could tell me their names and I'd be like, sure, I don't know who you're talking about, but okay. And then the first one of the Love's Academic trilogy, I also felt the same way of. Like I had read 2 previous India Holtons at that point and I was like, these feel all the same to me. Like they're just the same tropes, the same relationship dynamics, all that kind of stuff. And then we get book 2, which introduces a different relationship dynamic, and I was so excited about it because we had 2 neurodivergent characters and one also who is like grumpy, does not know how to deal with people, grumpy. And I was like, oh, I love him so much. And that's so different from her other characters because all of her other male love interests are rakes and like they're all the same, cut and dry to me at this point, and I kind of hate that. I might have to reread the first trilogy, and I do have to finish the first trilogy with the last book to like really see, because maybe it was just like the moods I was in, but I'm quite honestly like the vibes of all the character dynamics between our two love interests feel very, very similar to me in that first trilogy. And then the first book of The Love's Academic matches those to me. But second book was fucking banger. And then I finished the third book today and it was so fucking good. And it was such an interesting exploration of the dark academia and gothic genres in India Holton's very satirical, very tongue-in-cheek, very aware of itself style, and I fucking ate it up. It kind of gave me like a little bit of Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen vibes, because Jane Austen, that book is like tongue-in-cheek the whole way through about the gothic literature genre, right? And then it also, this book, Antiquarian's Object of Desire, gave me the two main characters, gave the love interest or whatever. It's a friends to lovers, so again, it's a different relationship dynamic. And yes, our main love interest is back into that super charismatic level that you would find the rakes in from the previous books, but this one is like a Byronic hero, and he's like, he's poeticizing all the time. He is just like Wendell from Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. Like, this book gave me Emily and Wendell vibes. So if you love that vibe of relationship, pick this fucking book up. It was so good. I was so intrigued to see what she would do, India Holton would do with the dark academia vibe and the way that we got it, because I was like, it's India Holton. Like, she's known for her really, really cozy, kooky, fun little romps, you know? This was great. This was exceptional. And like, India Holton isn't very spicy at all. There's not many like actual like descriptive love scenes, if you will. But this one got spicy in like a really India Holton way. And I was giggling. I was clutching my pearls. I was like, holy shit, these two people are mutually pleasuring each other in a open field. What the fuck? Anyways, I will talk more about the book in my challenge video that I'm doing, because I could wax poetic about that book all day. I fucking ate it up. I loved it. I loved it so much. I cannot wait to see what else India Holton does, because I think her prose is some of my favorite in the cozy genre, because it's snappy and it's funny as fuck, and it gets the tone across immediately and so well across the entire book. It is so fantastic. Love that for me. 2 books down. 2 books down, which is awesome. But yeah, this weekend, other than that, Saturday, I didn't really do much at all. I did a little bit of knitting. I did a little bit of just meandering in my brain and on social media, as one does. And then today, I ended up going to mom and dad's, of course. Mom's birthday is tomorrow. We got together today, but we didn't really do anything like super special. It was just like pizza, salad types night or whatever. Mom has had a headache for many days in a row because something's out in her back. So I gave her a very long back massage, and I think I helped, because she messaged me like, whatever you did, I can think. And I was like, hell yeah, let's go. So I think I massaged some of it out, at least, hopefully, which is awesome. And then I did her toenails, because she always asked me to redo her toenails, and I was like, absolutely, I love doing nails, let's go. Did that. And then they were getting rid of a couple shelves, so I asked my group chat of friends if anyone wanted them, and my friend's mom wanted them. So I was like, bet I will drop it off tonight on my way home. So I went and visited with Sophia and her mom for a bit, which was very fun, and we just had a little chat. Sophia and I had a little chat on the driveway. It was very fun. Then I came home and vacuumed, tidied a little bit, because my place really needed it. Then I finished the India Holton book, and I've since been just hanging out. And I did a little bit of work on Project Dragon as well. I was thinking earlier, as I was like making my iced coffee and like making breakfast or whatever, I was thinking of different situations in the actual world building of the Nerian Empire, which is where Project Dragon is set in my world of Ravar up north. And I was like, okay, like I was thinking about specifically the chapters for Maeve at the beginning. I feel like I get to the point where they find a down dragon and are like, oh my god, this is so terrible. Who would do this to a dragon? And I was just like, that seems a little bit like, if a reader got to that point, they'd be like, okay, but why does that matter that much? So I was like, okay, what should I do to like layer in different things in the scenes and the world building and that kind of stuff to make it extremely clear that dragons are revered and they are like religious beings almost to most people, right? In this world, and because they are the children of the goddess of the sky, essentially, right? Like, Thydea is the goddess of the sky, and she is the mother of dragons, essentially, in their belief system. And so dragons at this point are like treated like revered beings. They are not hunted for sport. They are nothing of that. Their dragon scales are mined from the mountains. So it's like ancient dragon scale that is being mined from like ancient times, because there is a myth or a story essentially that one of the first dragons that was created by Thydea, or birthed by Thydea, because gods are funky, became the Aderlan Peaks, which is the mountainous range in my world up north. And so a lot of the mining happens in those peaks specifically, and that's where all the dragon scale is from. So it's like it was believed that the mountain was once a dragon, right? Like a fucking massive, fucking out of this world, enormous dragon, which is like partially true, and also partially it's just like the mountain creating this substance that is dragon scale, that they've called dragon scale for a long time and looks like dragon scale, but like, would that substance still be dragon, would be the scale of dragons when it's been chipped away from solid rock? Like, that's not necessarily like, you're not finding the body of a dead dragon, you're finding the substance. And then, anyways, I'm just going off on my world building, right? So I was thinking about like ways I could actually make the religion and like belief system specifically in the different areas of Neria like very clear, because if you've read my cozy books, A Second Story, A Little Luck, and A Favored Fae, they are set in the Brenham Empire, which is south, and they are set in Arrowmount, which is a little seaside town. So in Arrowmount, I specifically made the gods that are like the new gods, quote unquote new gods, that are worshipped in the Brenham Empire across the empire. They are like, there's different ones from like in different places, of course. Like by the sea they would worship the sea god, and like by the agriculture they would worship the agriculture god, you know what I mean? So like individual people would also worship whoever they wanted to worship, but like the overarching gods that would be mentioned or like are colloquially in swears or whatever like that, they are specific and region specific. So like if you really look closely at the people who are from Arrowmount, they have the same gods in their swears all the time. And then if you look at people from outside of Arrowmount who come in, they swear with a different god. And I think it's really interesting to think about that, because I was like, okay, where are these people from? Where have they been? And what would they use in their swears? Because what have they picked up along the way, right? It's just a little bit of world building. And so I was thinking about that vis-a-vis like how a very religious empire that is very religiously tied to the old gods, how would that be reflected across the empire? And like, how would it vary? Of course, because it doesn't matter if you're in like a religious city, there's still going to be people who don't believe in the gods, right? So across the Nerian Empire, I was thinking of different like pockets and like different like the places that we're going to be in the story. And I was like, okay, the Adnar Blan, which is the dragon sanctuary, they would specifically worship Thydea, obviously, because she is the mother of dragons, and they're at the dragon sanctuary. And then they would also probably worship the god of the mountains, because they're also in the mountains. And then of course I was like, also the sanctuary is accumulated of people from all over Revar, so there would be people who worship the new gods there too. And I was like, okay, that'd be really fun to like think of, and just like set building and like just walking through the village, like seeing different shrines, or maybe like seeing someone hanging, like putting a trinket around their neck, or like, you know how in the Western world, if you're walking around the average white person's home, you see crosses on the walls, right? Like it's that level. Like what kind of little things could be in the background in the set dressing of these places that would make it clear that these dragons are revered? And I was thinking about that, and I was like, okay, like it would be kind of cool if we saw like a little girl and her granny at the sanctuary who like lived together, if they had like an encounter with one of the dragons, because like of course the sanctuary is much higher up and away from the village of Ardnablan, because that would be weird to have like the sanctuary in the same place as the village. It's like up in the mountains where the dragons can exist, because there are big fucking creatures, right? Obviously there's little dragons and whatever, but like big fucking creatures in the hot caves, whatever. And then like the village is more in the valley and like protected and all this kind of stuff. Anyways, so they wouldn't necessarily see dragons. And I think it would be really cool to have a little scene where Maeve, my main character, like comes across this granny basically chasing a toddler and being like, no, 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 don't go up there. Like, we're not really allowed to go up there. And then Maeve being like, you guys can go wherever you want. Like, just be careful not to fall off the edge of the mountain. There are no hard and fast rules about my villagers being up near my dragons, but just, be careful because they are still wild creatures. And then like seeing this little tiny dragon, like I want to say like the height of the toddler, like, and having them have this interaction and have it be like very clear that the little girl is like stunned speechless, but also thinks it's really cool. And then the grandma just like fucking losing her shit because this is like a religious being that's come to like bless her granddaughter, right? Like all this kind of stuff. And Maeve's just off to the side, like it's just a little guy. I don't know what you guys are panicking about, but okay. This one bit me on the ass 2 days ago. Like one of those things. Like I think that would be really fun. And then I was thinking about all across of Nyria and like in Ensgard, which is the capital where like the queens are, and then in like in the learning university sector and like more rural areas too, and like mining. And I was like thinking of all the different gods that would be reflected in these areas. And I think it was really interesting thought exercise. And like also in the way of like not just thinking of like these are the gods that would be worshipped, but how they would be represented, Anyways, this little mic is starting to die. It just flashed red at me. So I'm going to leave this here and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow for Monday. But oof, lots of thoughts today. It's been a pretty good weekend. Hello, friends. It is officially Monday, and welcome to the end of this vlog. I've already filmed this clip once, but this little microphone did not fucking work in the last clip, so you could just hear my air conditioner blaring. So, I love that for me. Hi, hello. It's Monday. Today, I finished another book. I finished All the Wind-Racked Stars by Elizabeth Bear. I don't know if I liked this or not. You're gonna have to wait for that challenge video to hear more about it, but I don't know if I liked it or not. Like, I just don't know. I don't know. But I finished it, so that's another book off the TBR, which we love. Anyways, yeah, this weekend was very, very chill. I don't think I got up to a whole heck of a lot. I mean, I read a bunch of books, which is always great. Did a little bit of knitting, got to see my friends, did a little bit of work on Project Dragon. Love that. And yeah, it's really fun to think about all the things that I talked about in the last clip about Project Dragon to see, for like world building and background and stuff like that. Yeah, I think the next thing I want to do specifically with Project Dragon is now actually go in and start editing what I have previously written to like really get in the groove of it and then just keep writing, which is very fun and exciting and also terrifying. But anyways, I think I'm going to leave this here. Coming up this week, there probably will not be a Friday video again. My apologies. But I am taking Friday off of work and going up to the lake, which is very exciting. So next weekend vlog will be a long weekend vlog. Very exciting. But because I'm doing this reading challenge all this week, the last day is actually Friday of that challenge. So I can't have this video ready for Friday because that's just not how it works. And then I'm at the lake and the Wi-Fi up there is shit, so I won't be able to upload this or anything on the weekend. So it'll probably go up next Friday. So I hope you don't mind that too much. Hopefully it'll be a good one anyways, because we love a little challenge video, don't we? Well, at least I do. But yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. I love it. I love it so much. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me this weekend. It's been so fun, and I will catch you in another video very soon. Stay kind and keep on reading.